Okay, so we got a kind of rush request here, and what they're looking for is just like kind of like a live update of what things are looking like here in the spring. And obviously don't have time to go out and get a whole bunch of B-roll. They just want to see like how the overall landscape is looking. So we're going to be grabbing the drone and some audio equipment and getting kind of packed up. So we're just going to kind of go over what we're taking out and what ultimately the objective is. So I haven't used it in a little while, so I'm getting the drone out here and just making sure everything is ready to go. So we got our controller, which that's going to go in the bag here. So we're going to pack this baby up. Like I said, the batteries are on the speed charging station just behind me. We got Mavic 3 Pro. It's quite a bright day out, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's going to be really harsh light. So we also have the corresponding ND filters. It'll probably end up being either an ND 16 or 32 that I'm going to be putting on to clean up that image so that it's not overexposed. So we are going to pack that away. I already have an SD card in there, already in my drone, and I always put an extra one just in case something goes wrong. I put it right here in the actual controller as well, but just have this little SD card case. And I got my video cards, and then for drone as well, obviously I've got one here in the camera. So we've got that all ready to go. And now the final piece is just to make it a little bit more immersive, because if you just see drone footage and you just put music over it, it doesn't really feel like you're there or part of really anything. So a little touch that I like to do is when I'm standing, in my position flying the drone, I'll go and pick a spot that, maybe there's birds chirping, a bit of wind, or something like that. And you've probably seen from the other videos, I have this microphone on a stand right here. And it's just my shotgun mic that I use on my camera. And we're just going to put a little kind of wind diffuser on it because there is a bit of a breeze today. So we're just going to slip that baby on. And then we're going to be capturing some real-time audio so we can overlay that and do just a little bit of sound design on it, just so that when you're flying, if it's close to the ground, you should be hearing a little bit of wind, a little bit of like a whoosh noise, and you should be hearing some nature. So you should be hearing some sort of sounds. So I'm going to use this as my recorder, a little Zoom H1N. It's super cheap, but still a really good recorder as my kind of bridge to fill this in. Just got a little pair of plug-in earbuds to monitor the audio levels to see how clean it is. So then we can get it back into pose, put a little bit of reverb on it so that it's not super, super clean, so that it just sounds a little bit more kind of dreamy. And we're just going to get some updates of what things look like right now. So that'll be some top down, some flying down fairways, kind of like big overarching property overviews from high up. And they just want to show, here's what things look like as it is right now. So we're going to go and get that captured. I might bring the tripod out and kind of take this along with me, but we'll see. This is a really tight timeline. So it's 1 o'clock and they want the footage captured, graded, and delivered by, 5 o'clock, 5:30 at the latest. So we've got a few hours, and like I said, the batteries are charging. I'll probably only need 2 batteries, so about 30, that's about an hour of flight time. And then get back home an hour-ish to chop it together and put it into something just somewhat interesting, download the audio, and put that all into place. And before I do anything, do I have yes, I got a micro SD card in here as well. And I think that should be good. So we will catch you back on the post end, or if I take it out, but I'm going to be moving pretty quick, so might not take it out with it, but we'll see. Okay, so we are back in the office here, and we're just switching in the micro SD card here. We're just going to get it plugged in, and then we're going to get this stuff dropped over. So this is one of those that it's all about the speed on this one. Just want to get it done. and just make it a little bit better looking than average. Now, the one unfortunate part about this is couldn't get the audio captures. The areas that I was able to go to, there was heavy machinery and construction going on, so I couldn't get the ambience. And didn't do as in-depth of coverage because at this time of year they're doing burn piles for agriculture, and there was a bunch of smoke kind of cascading down into some of the spots, so couldn't do the big huge overarching sweeping shot because there was a lot of smoke in the air. So had to get closer to the ground and kind of fly some of these routes down closer to the ground. And so now we are just going to quickly organize this into a folder, and I'm going to switch it on to screen record here so that you can see what's going on. And like I said, this is just going to be really quick and dirty. Just get it out of the way and add this into an invoice. So record screen, here we go. So all right. And so that the audio syncs up with the screen record, I got to plug in the microphone. So we're just going to quickly do that. Now we're not going to worry about taking, why not? It takes me 3 seconds. This is already a pretty bad video, so what does it really matter if there's just another couple seconds of limbo here while I take this off? It's unnecessary for in here. So we're just going to get this plugged in. We got the same angle as always. There we go. Now we just got to plug in the USB-C here so that it's going to sync up the audio with the screen record, because trying to match that in post is ridiculous. So just get 2 sources and make sure that it's capturing. So let's see, Teams audio, no. There we go, Comica. Okay, so that should be capturing, which it is. So now we are gonna flip on the screen record and we're gonna get going here. So like I said, nothing about this is gonna be special. It's just gonna be a matter of getting this done and out of the way. So let's see that in here. Yes, so that is this folder. We'll get rid of these LRF files. They're useless. And now let's just make sure that this is where it starts. Great. Mandal. So we're just going to let this drop in, and we'll just kind of go over what exactly we're trying to do. It's just like, just chop it down into, 25, 30 seconds. I do have a bunch of audio files that I can go and pull from for some kind of nature ambience, just to kind of mix in there so that it's not quite so flat. But I don't even know if that's really necessary. It's just a matter of just getting a few shots, seeing, how the first cuts are looking and everything on the golf course. So there's not going to be a ton to go here, but this is what I said I was going to be doing. The more kind of things that have rush deadlines or any sort of projects, it's like I'm already here. I might as well just document it. It's like I got less than a minute for this to upload, so why not? Can just kind of discuss these pieces. And something that I'm already noticing is just to make sure that the exposure and especially that the focus point is staying where it should be. I noticed that it's been kind of bouncing around and kind of racking focus, like it's hunting a little bit. And I don't know why that would be the case on my face, because it's G Master lens on, or a native lens on a Sony body. So it's like, it should be pretty clean on the autofocus. Maybe it's just because of the extreme bright out the window. I don't know. But if I look like I'm kind of looking off in a direction, I keep checking to make sure that the focus and the exposure is staying where it's supposed to, because it's been a little wonky. Okay, so now this is ready to go. And like I said, we're not doing anything special to this. We're just going to pull open DaVinci here. And we are just going to create a new project, and we're just going to call this Spring, same as the folder. Nothing special here. We're going to import media, desktop, and we are going to go to Spring. These are the clips from there. So we're just going to drag those in, don't change. Now my computer is pretty capable of handling a lot of this stuff. So I got to create a a timeline preset here for what it is that I like to use, because the project settings, it defaults to 1080. And when I first got DaVinci in my first computer, I needed to do it in 1080 because it was just too slow to process 4K. So we're going to have to correct that, but it's just like the drone I was buzzing, it was at 2997 frame rate, and it's shooting oversampled, I think 5.1 or 5.2K. So the 4K looks really clean, especially on a smaller screen. So we are just going to change that over, Command All, and now we're just going to drag this into the timeline. Now this is where it gets pretty easy. We can see that this is not quite filling because of mismatched. There is a way to go and do this on a baseline, but just for the few drone clips that I'll often use, it's not really necessary. It's a bit overkill. I can just go in and just hit fill, and it does it for me. So we're going to get rid of the media pool, and now we're just going to go through and put on a basic conversion let, which I just have as like my drone node tree. And then we can make our adjustments here. And because I expose these all very, very similarly, it's not going to be an issue to make those types of corrections. So option, and then whatever that kind of squiggly line is up in the top corner of a keyboard, I have a hotkey set to copy the grade from the previous. So I know you can set it up in groups and things like that in DaVinci. But it's just not very often that I need to do that. And here's what I was meaning about the smoke. You'll probably be able to see, where might it be? Do I have a shot of it? Maybe not. I think maybe I avoided it, but you can see it kind of looks cloudy here, or that it looks like my lens is dirty, or it's like out of focus, and that's just the smoke that was in the air. So we're going to kind of monitor these to see which ones it's a little too prevalent. So like this one right here, you can see right in the treetops here that it's a bit smoky, and that's what I was meaning, that the smoke was kind of moving down the mountain and kind of pushing down into where I was getting my secondary captures on the other side of the property. So I think I hit it pretty well. It's maybe just a little bit off, but close enough. Yeah, you can really see it when I go flying back towards it here. Let's see, where is that? Yeah, I mask it pretty well. So that part is fine. Now we're just going to go into the color page, and we are going to start sampling this. So this part is fine. Now this is one where I might bump the exposure just a little bit here. Just bump it up just a touch. And then contrast, we're just gonna reintroduce that. And I don't know why. Maybe because I got the screen record going, it's just a little bit laggy. It shouldn't be, but for some reason it is. Temperature, I'd say that looks pretty good. Maybe just a bit on the warm side, but that's okay. So I'd say that looks pretty clean for what this needs to be. So we're going to go now to the next clip, and we are going to copy and paste those settings. Copy and paste. Now this one is maybe just a bit on the flat side. So we might just push the contrast just a touch more. Pivot's in a good spot, but I think the expo, my exposure is maybe just a touch low, especially for social, but I'll have to check again and again. That's why it's just like run a test, send it to your phone, and check how it looks on there, because 99% of people are going to view it there, maybe even higher than that actually. Yeah, and here's where you can really see the smoke. It was coming from a ridgeline just back over here. There's a property back here that's kind of situated back in the trees that's got some agriculture and cattle, so they're clearly just doing a burn pile. They have to do it at this time of year before it gets too close to summer, and then things are too dry, so they can't do those piles. So this time of year you'll see it quite often. Okay, and then this one, yeah, the exposure is going to be way too low on this one. So we're going to bump both of these and bring down that just to reintroduce a little bit of contrast. And then, yeah, I'd say this one's maybe just a little bit better. So Okay, there we go. Now we're getting the type of exposure that we want here. So I just had to bump it just a little bit. And this one, you can see I underexposed it because there's so much glare coming off the water. So I had to underexpose it a little bit. So this one might not work, but at the same time, that's not what this is about. It's not about having the absolute perfect exposure. So we can bring this down and our highlights balance that. And this one's a bit too dark, but let's see if this clip's even really usable. Yeah, that's fine. We'll come back to that one. Okay, and now you can see like everything looks really smoky here. It looks really dirty. So let's see if I kind of orbit around. Does that? Let's see. Yeah, I think I can save it. So if I go, let's see here, we go back to edit and we put on a vertical crop marker here. We go back to, let's see, is this savable? Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, fine. Okay, here is number 11. Okay, just bring that up just a touch. Contrast, and then we gotta bring these shadows down so it doesn't look like terrible iPhone footage. And then I'd say the temperature's just a bit too warm on this. It's shifted a bit over in this corner. Okay, great. This one coming over the trees here. And well, that's accurate. This hole got top dressed. And the reason that they're kind of going through and doing the top dressing is they throw a layer of sand over it, so then the grass kind of all grows at the same level. It fills in little depressions and inconsistencies in the grass density. So even though this is a really good thing, unless you know why they're doing that, it looks terrible. So even though this is not a bad shot, this is going to end up being a throwaway. So then we're flying back from the tee box here. So this part looks fine. Looking at one of the signature holes, long par 3 down the mountain, so that we can see how the green looks. Great. The signature hole, and again, top dressing, and then it rains, so there's mud and sand, so that just looks absolutely terrible. Here is a par 5 coming down, so this one is fine. Let's go bump some contrast, and again we're gonna bring up this exposure here. About there should be okay. And again, temperature's just running just a little bit warm. Not far, but just a bit. Okay. Now, exposure. Bring that down. Bring that down. And there we are, because now we're shooting, sun's coming from right up and above, so now we got way more brightness on it here. We're not shooting across, so we don't have much contrast, but okay, that looks okay. Showing down here, and again, this is just kind of floating around in this corner so that I don't have to fight the smoke. So now bring up our gain and the gamut just a little bit. We can bring those shadows back down to balance. And now let's just keep spreading this waveform and just getting it a bit more robust. So that is okay. Okay, exposure. There we are. That looks good. That looks good. And I think this is flying down to part 5, and then there's like you can see the kind of natural little waste area here, and then it flows right into the next hole, and then we flew down underneath the trees and down this fairway so you can see a little bit closer up. So I'm okay with that. Okay, so there is our baseline. So there's just something very quickly just kind of organized, and now we gotta shorten down and condense all of this. So we're just gonna hit the pause button on here for a minute. I gotta take a call here for a meeting on another project, and we'll pick this back up right away. Okay, we are back. Just had to get through that call just for a request for Monday and a shoot. So we are back here, and we are going to now start trimming down this footage. And ideally, I think it'll be probably around like 25-30 seconds. Doesn't need to be some masterpiece by any stretch, because there's no way that it can be. Like, it's highlight, early season, everything's still like somewhat dead. There's no leaves out. Like, it is what it is. It's just an update. So we are going to switch on the screen recording here. So that should be, okay, so now it should be coming up. We got the mic going for the audio sync. Okay, so now it should be showing up back right over here. Okay, so we got our little vertical crop here. So I think if we start right about there. Okay, there, great. Let's see here. Okay, just a little climb shot just so it's not all push-ins. Good. This one we can see the smoke. This one's got a bunch of rotational movement, which so let's start that right about there where the smoke is out of view. Good. Now we're just flying back towards the clubhouse and main area here. Yeah, so I think if we get it about here, you can see the 18th and see the mountains in the distance. Great. This is the 10th, part 5, so about there. Okay. Now this is just another one of those climb shots going up, so you can see the green top dressed. And we want to get it where there's as much interest to the frame as possible, so when you can see the bunkers. And good. Now we're just departing from that green, heading over to what I think is the best hole in the property, which is the 17th. Now this one, pretty high up here, and it doesn't really give perspective, so we are going to get rid of that. This one shows 17 and 18, and it shows the resort, and that's where you see I adjusted the exposure. Okay, good. This one shows more of just 17. And as I was flying, you can see I'm trying to get it around the corner, but didn't do a very good job of it, so we don't see the key part of it now. If I move this well over, we can get that perspective. So let's see, because I want to be able to, yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, right about there. And good. Now we are going to the hole before, that's number 16. And that looks terrible. Looking up number 2 here. Terrible. Shooting down light. here we have just kind of orbiting the whole way around. So this one I think will probably moving very quickly here to just get 1, 2, 3. Okay, that one will be fine. We'll tweak that momentarily. And this one, we want to see those tree movements centered out. Great. On to the next. Hold 10. With the top dressing, it looks terrible, even though that's a good thing. How's this one? Not all that interesting. I have the better shot here to show up there, so this one can go. Okay, parallax. That's kind of an interesting shot. Fine. Yeah, and yeah, this one looked terrible because of the lighting. As you can see, this is where a major portion of development is going on. So this one, it's like I'm trying to, everyone knows it's there, but if I don't have to show it, I'm not going to. This is more just about just getting the shot of the course and the update. Okay, I think I can maybe scooch this one over about there. So now let's see. Yeah, that'll be fine. So let's get it right as it's pivoting, and there we go. Okay, even though this still doesn't look great, yeah, the sand just makes it look so terrible. Even though it's like in person, this looks really good. Like at ground level, it looks really pure. There's just a bit of sand in there just to top dress. And that's one of those that it's just people won't get it. And then they'll think it wintered horribly, even though it's like the best wintering I've seen since I've been here. And worked at this particular resort for many years. And this is as good as I've seen it winter. So I think that's just one of those that, unfortunately, it's going to be received very poorly, even though it shouldn't be. Everyone fears top dressing. They think it's this bad thing, but it's so important to a golf course. Okay, there's number 10. That looks great. Here's number 12, green. Just a basic climb up. Good. And then this is flying the gap of the 2 holes, so. Yeah, so I think this can kind of start right here. Okay, so that's that. We're going to move back just a touch, and we are going to reposition this because it arcs just a little bit because I'm getting ready to fly through this gap up the next hole. You can see I'm just kind of repositioning, and then here, and right about here, if we start to pull this over, okay, there we go. So we've done an initial cull. Now we just gotta organize it. And actually, I think I got yeah, I did get a shot. What am I talking about? I think I did. Where I am standing out in the position out on the other side of the mountain where I'm sending the drone off. So that might be like the kind of introductory shot that it's just like real-time course update and the drone taking off and then cutting right into this. So I might actually pull that. It's on the memory card that's in here, but I think that might be an interesting way to preface it. So we're just gonna bump this up, move it down. Let's just shuffle this. And right when the movement gets smooth, so right about here. Okay, great. Flying straight down. There's this shot, even though I don't mind it, I think it's going to get scrubbed. So if I shuffle this over, actually I think that'll stay. Okay, so here, put that there. Here's another arc so you can see the resort. This one will start out wide. This one. This one. Climb. Climb. Okay, now let's just start trimming these down to a bite size. This one, we want to reverse it. I don't want to have a bunch of differing directions going here, so we are just going to reverse this. So then it's left to right, left to right, to right, and then flying straight. We can probably chop that down. And this one, we're going to, oopsies. We're going to position this one so that we can just barely see the green. There we go. Good. Now I don't want too dramatic of a pace change here. Okay, good. And then I gotta, yeah, I think I can actually just get rid of this one. I'm too worried about the smoke in it, so. Good. Okay, so now we can get rid of this one, and now we can go back into, this will be reversing, but I think it's gonna feel kind of natural. Okay, so just a very slow climb, bit left to right. Yeah, so then it's moving in the, that's the thing, I actually don't really like that. Unless we go here. Yeah, I definitely want that going in forward. It's a lot more dynamic shot. So we're going to start it kind of coming over the trees, show the separation between the two types of courses, and we'll trim that baby down. Got this one. How does this whole look? Yeah, this looks really good from the sky. So we got right to left. I think actually we can maybe scrub that. Bring that in. Yeah, isn't this just the most exciting video you've ever seen before in your life? Okay, don't mind that, except that one I will actually reverse. And now I got another shot of a green climbing right here. So then that movement should kind of flow together. And again, I was just grabbing this stuff super fast. I don't even think I stopped the drone to switch over any of the record settings. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, now we'll bring this one in. There we go. This one's meh, meh. And yeah, let's start this right about here. And then just shrink this baby down. Okay, so this image is quite flat, so now we're just going to go through and make those visual adjustments. So exposure, about there. There we go, that should brighten it up but retain the contrast. Okay, and then we can obviously see the separation between these two. You can even see just a bit of the haziness. It's a bit on the flat side. Bring that up just to try and get it just a little bit brighter and a little bit more saturated. So this one's shooting back into the sky. So let's do this by just introducing, we already got quite a bit of contrast in there. I think about there is as far as I can go, so I really didn't do much of anything as a change from just first glance. Okay, fine. Just looking to see if roughly the luminosity of this, like just the way it kind of jumps out on the screen, if it's roughly similar so it doesn't feel like such a stark change from shot to shot. This one's maybe just a touch dark. So we'll just bring up the highlights just, or the gain just a little bit. And it looks a bit warm too compared to the other. So we'll just bring that back just a touch. Okay, now this one. Okay, gains there. Contrast, good. And again, it's just running a little bit warm compared to the others. Not much, but just a little bit. Okay, now this one. I'd say that's pretty close. Okay, now this one is a little bit of a problem. How complex do I want to get with this one? Because I can just, because I'm trying to draw attention to the green, right? So I can easily just throw a mask over this. And we'll just expand it just ever so slightly. Max out the softness. Actually, I gotta do that in an adjustment. I don't want to have it happen on that. So I'll just quickly tidy this up. Again, I'm not wanting this to spill out so that there's just like a random bright spot on these trees. So I got to make this real soft, and it's got to be pretty soft adjustments. Pull it there. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Just a bit of contrast, and then we are going to track this. There we go. Okay, terrific. Now if we go back to this, and now we can see, just to draw our attention to that centerpiece there. Okay, so next clip. I think that's pretty good. Now this one, the green is popping way too much. So we are gonna have to make some adjustments here. In comparison to the other ones, granted it's a little bit more lush down here in different light, but this is too green, too saturated in my opinion. So we're gonna go HSLs and we're gonna select this. Actually, we're just gonna do our greens and we'll just make a slight adjustment here. You can see hue versus saturation. And I'm not moving enough of it, so let's just target it and just make that just a little bit more on par with the others. Even though they all look the same, it's just the way that the lighting's coming at it. I'm getting all the contrast from the sun being up here in this area. So there's more contrast across, and then just more trees down here. So it just looks a little bit more lush. Now this one, exposure is too low. Keep the shadows. We'll bump the contrast just a little bit. And now we'll just adjust our gain just to get it closer. So now how are we looking at exposure? I'd say that's pretty comparable. Okay, same here. And then we're just gonna keep that black point down there. Just a little bit of contrast, and the bunkers right here are running a little hot, so let's deal with those just a little bit. It's pretty Is that blown out? Maybe. Actually, let's brighten this so that we can see. And yeah, that detail right there is clipped. So right here, that's clipped. There's no information there, so not the end of the world. Okay, and now last here. Okay, exposure there, and we can bring this down slightly. Now those HSL curves, we want to go into hue versus hue because this is looking very yellow. And we're just going to touch that up more to what it actually is. And again, it might look like it's kind of false advertising, but it's just like, this is the true to the eye. I've been down walking on this path right here, and this is what it looks like. And just because that looks just a little bit nuclear, we're just going to pull down the saturation just a touch so that it doesn't look ridiculous. But that's the color and hue that it actually is. So. And now we're just balancing for it on camera. Okay, it's great. Now we get into this one flying low. And I think that's in a pretty good spot. Maybe bring down the pivot just a touch. Yeah, I'd say ultimately that's pretty accurate. I think it's just running a touch warm. And now this one, I'll just bring that down, and there we go. And yeah, that's accurate to eye as well. When I was standing over here on a cart pad, so I'd say that's quite accurate. Okay, so then we've got, it's 40 seconds, so now we got to go through and we got to trim the fat here. Is this shot really going to do anything? No, it's too fast. And this one doesn't, I don't think really shows enough. This clip's too long. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then this one got a little bit off, so back into the HSLs, hue versus hue. We're just gonna drop that and about there. That's much more indicative of it. Okay. Zoom in slightly because I was supposed to that goes obviously for and this one we are going to shuffle its position. Good. And this might be kind of cool, but it's just too fast and too weird of a movement. Okay, so now we are down to what, 31 seconds? So now let's just see if we get really bored by any of this and where we can trim. Okay, and all cut and dry, pretty boring stuff. Okay, ultimately, I'd say that's pretty fine. Okay, now this is where I can put, and I'll give the option of this. We'll do a text plus on top. And what is it? It is, what is the text? It's Gotham, I think is what it is. Yep. Let's just say, well, of course, update, sure. And that's one of those that they're probably, like, highly doubt they're going to want to keep that, but whatever. I'm not concerned about that. Like I said, this is just about getting them just something super quick. It's not going to be good. It doesn't have to be. This is just a get it done, get us something to update. Okay. Great. Now, project settings. We're just going to switch this over to vertical. Save. And now we just got to resize this. This one needs to get shuffled over. Want to see the whole green, so it's centered. There we go. Line there. That's good, except this is running a little bit murky, so we are just going to bring that down a touch. Okay, great. Now we're gonna go back to our color page, hit the light box so that we can see how these are matching up. So I would say that these look pretty balanced. Obviously this one hotspot's a bit of an eyesore, but other than that, this one's maybe just a bit dull, but that's just because nothing is alive right here. This looks pretty close. This looks good. Yeah, so considering how hideous the light and everything is, I'd say it's fine. Okay, so now we're just gonna go to the actual, get rid of the guides. And we're gonna do an Insta high quality and spring update. We're gonna send that to the desktop. Save and add to render queue. Render all. So there we go. Got a request, got out, got it captured, chopped up, very, very basic color put on it. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's putting color on, it's just converting it to Rec 709 and just adjusting exposure slightly. This is not a masterpiece of work, but just a request to get it done very quickly, quick and dirty. So that's exactly what this is. And I'll render a second one out that doesn't have text on it because they'll probably want to add their own. But there is one done. The request came in at noon, and we are setting it off for delivery at 4. So way ahead of them wanting it for 5:30. So there's one done and in the books. So gonna get going on the next chop up, which is going to be taking the request, backing out on location, and then recording this, chop this up, so then you can just see like this is real time, this stuff that's happening. And obviously when it actually gets posted, when someone might actually view this, which who knows if anyone will, I can actually just see that this is just quick workflow to get this part done. Don't need to wait on dramatic light or perfect weather or set anything up. It's just people need stuff and they want it not tomorrow, they want it immediately. So for those ones, it's like, yeah, it's a pain in the butt to go and do it, but you just have to get it done, do it with a smile on your face, and make the client happy. The happier you make them, the more they want to keep coming back. So we'll see you in the next one.